Boy everyone, and welcome to Finish Your Plate. Christmas time is of course time for desserts, and in Finland one of the most classic Christmas desserts is the rice pudding. There's so many ways you can make a rice pudding. You can make it on a stove top, you can make it in the oven, you can even fry it on a pan. You can serve it with some cinnamon and sugar, or maybe with a sauce. Sometimes prune sauce, but not always. Could be other type of sauces as well. Here I have some rice pudding with the prune sauce served on the bottom in the jar. Plus there's also a surprise in there for good luck. But for me, the most memorable Christmas dessert is a prune quark pudding. It was always store-bought for me, but here is my version of it, which is basically just quark and some prune sauce and some whipped cream that's been served in a small jar like this. And of course then you have all kinds of cookies. Here I have some, they're called Jaffa cookies in Finland, which is more like a soft biscuit kind of a bottom with a fruit jelly filling and chocolate on top. These ones specifically are glöggi flavored. And then there's all kinds of gingerbread cookies. These are just store-bought gingerbread cookies that have been dipped in chocolate. Now we're going to make prune sauce to use in a prune pudding. We'll take a whole bunch of prunes first, and we'll cover these in water. And we'll also add a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. Now we'll let this come to a boil and cook it until the prunes have softened up. Okay, so now our plums have softened up. I'm just gonna put a little bit of cornstarch slurry in there just to thicken it up a little bit. This is about a tablespoon of cornstarch in a tablespoon of cold water. Make a slurry. There we go. Good. Now we're going to let this cool down just a little, and then we're going to add some vanilla extract, a little bit of cognac in here, and we're going to taste the amount of sugar just to make sure that the sugar is good. But don't add these too early because they're just going to boil off. Okay, so now we'll taste, make sure the sugar is correct. Let's add one more spoonful of brown sugar. Now we're going to let this cool down completely before we're going to use this in a recipe. Now that our prune jam has cooled down, we're going to make a prune quark. First, we'll take a packet of gelatin and we're going to bloom this gelatin. I just have a little bit of water, about an eighth of a cup of water. I'm going to sprinkle my gelatin on top. I'm going to let this bloom. 2 deciliters of heavy cream. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. So now that my gelatin has bloomed, I'm going to microwave this and mix it so that it'll be smooth and without lumps. Here we go, the gelatin is now smooth with no lumps. Since it's still hot, we can't mix it in the cream yet. It needs to cool down first. But what we'll do is we'll whip this cream into stiff peaks. Okay, so now that our whipped cream is ready, we're going to drizzle this cooled down gelatin mixture in here. So we'll take about 2/3 of quark and 1/3 of whipped cream. And we're going to take a few tablespoons of our prune, maybe about a cup. And now I'm going to just puree this even further. You could definitely leave this in bigger chunks too if you prefer. And we're going to start folding. So folding is where we don't really mix, but we go around the sides of the container of my bowl over here and then just blend all the ingredients together. So now that everything is blended all together, we're gonna spoon this into our containers. I have here some of these cute little containers, dessert containers. You could definitely use bigger bowls as well. Just remember, this still needs to go in the fridge to set for at least, I want to say 6 hours, maybe even overnight. And these are going to go in the fridge minimum of 6 hours or so. So let's make our rice pudding. In my pan, I'm going to measure 1/2 cup of short-grained rice, followed by same amount of water. I'm just going to turn on the heat now. And then just a tiny pinch of salt. And while my rice is coming to a boil, I'm going to measure 5 deciliters of whole milk. And when the water is pretty much all absorbed, I'm going to pour in the milk. Now we're just going to bring this to a simmer and then simmer it for maybe about 30-40 minutes until it's thickened and the rice is done. Remember, keep an eye on it just so it doesn't boil over. So now our rice pudding has cooked and cooled down a little bit. I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of cream in here. I'm going to mix it in. And also I will add a couple tablespoons of sugar. So now I have here the plum sauce that we made earlier. So I'm going to spoon a couple of spoonfuls of the plum sauce on the bottom of each container before topping it off with my rice pudding. You could certainly put the plum sauce on top as well. It's your choice. A common custom is, especially when you serve the rice pudding in a larger container, larger vessel, is to hide one almond in there for good luck. So whoever gets the almond has good luck for the next year. But I think we all could use a little good luck. So I'm going to put an almond in each one of these. And then finish filling them up with our rice pudding. And put the lids on them so they are ready to go. Rice pudding ready for Christmas. So here's the finished Christmas dessert board. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate.